Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Long boys blues, 1975. YouTubers on the rise. Reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends. But Long boys blues, 1975.
Hey YouTube, Lumbers Post 1975, and welcome to another True Blue mini overview video. Obviously, I've talked about one of these before, so I'm going to try and keep this quick, straight, and to the point. But basically, the reason I want to do a second overview of a different stick is just to show people what's on it. And, you know, basically, it's the entry-level stick, I would say. Now, the other reason I want to do this is the person who sent me the other stick, which I'll put a link to that video in the doohickey down below. I reviewed the Crackhead stick. So obviously there are 4 sticks. Well, there are 5 sticks. There is the Fighter's stick, which is the cheapest one. There is the Weed stick, which I would say is the entry level one. Then there is the Crackhead stick, which is the one I've already reviewed. Then the Meth stick. Are you spotting a theme here? And then the Overdose pack. Now, I do not know what reason they went with, you know, toxic substances, and the type of the substance would be the strength of, or the, you know, the level entry of the stick, with this being weed, so this being the entry level stick. Don't know if they thought they'd been edgy, don't know if they thought they were being funny, don't know if they thought they were being down with the kids, but you know, I guess they've got to name them something. Anyway, so yeah, they're all around about £15 to £20, dependent upon where you buy them, and you know where you know how quickly you want them sent to you. The person who sent me the other one sent me this one and said, "Dave, try this one at the other end of the spectrum." So basically, it comes down to the size of the stick and the number of the games, although they are all pretty consistent with the number of the games. Now, I believe this to be the entry-level stick. You could argue because of price and there being, you know, less games considerably on the fighting stick, that would be the entry-level one. But I don't think it is, simply because you could argue the fighting stick is a little bit more sort of specialist niche, if you will, when it comes to appeal to people. So it's kind of like an outside stick. The reason being, as much as we all like fighters, and some people like fighters more than others, purists, etc., who will buy that stick, I myself absolutely love them. I absolutely love the Tekken series. I absolutely love Street Fighter, King of Fighters and stuff like that. But I don't want a stick that's got nothing but fighting games on it. As I said, there are people out there who probably do, and this is for them. But that's why I don't really consider it to be the entry level stick, because like I said, it's, you know, it's a niche market to have nothing but what, 70, 80, 90 games that are nothing but fighting games. I'm not having, you know, saying anything derogatory about that. I'm just saying I would like a mixed board of games, which the rest of these sticks have, and obviously going up to the top is where you get more games. However, there are crossover games, which I think is a little bit weird. But we'll get to that. But then I don't know what the manufacturing process is for these, or how difficult it is to get all these ROMs, or can they simply only have a certain number of games that they can put across all these sticks for whatever reason, or how they got around hooky licensing, if you will, because you can buy these on Amazon, and I thought buying anything on Amazon, unless it's because it's just a memory stick and therefore isn't an emulation device that comes preloaded with ROMs, was illegal. Anyway, there you go, you've pretty much seen what it looks like now. Because you can buy all 4 of them, or 5 in fact, in a pack, I do find it kind of funny that there aren't 2, I guess it's cost, 2 variations of the stick for you to buy, because you get your stick again and you get the USB hub. Now, if you're only going to buy one of these devices, then the US hub is absolutely, you know, mandatory and brilliant. And because it's a 4-port hub, and you know, the cost of prices of the stick, as I mentioned in my previous video, you could argue that this is very, very, very good value for money. But since everyone's got a woody about the planet and plastic and green at the moment, not me, then couldn't you, but I mean, just for the cost, lowering the cost, I would say, if you're going to buy a pack, at least if they, you know, going to sell you the pack, they can take these out of the packaging, you know, and I don't know, knock some money off. I don't know if that's feasible, you know, how they do these things, or the process for, you know, packaging them and selling them and stuff like that. Or maybe it makes no difference. But do you really, really need 4 or 5 of these is useful as they are. Maybe 1 or 2, 1 to use and 2 as a backup, and give the rest to your mates, because USB hubs are useful. Anyway, because it's a memory stick, you put your pad in port 1, you know all this with the PlayStation Classic, and then you put this in port 2, and then you could plug a pad into that. So, you know, basically 2-player games work. Can you put more than 1 stick in it? I don't know. I don't want to try it. I've heard people complain, so this is important. I've heard people complain that if you already have memory sticks, and I have 2, one my mate made and one that I made, and once you use this, somehow it locks the machine. So take this with a pinch of salt. I'm not guaranteeing it doesn't, but it doesn't for me, because I've pulled my other one of these out, and used my, my original sticks, both of them, and they work fine. And then since taking them out and put this back in, and it works fine. Anyway, I will quickly say that the whole PlayStation Classic, as I mentioned in the other video, was just a complete and utter balls up on Sony's part. They figured they make shitloads of money off it because of this interest and love of the new mini systems. But obviously Nintendo made a lot of effort with theirs. They were very nice places to be once you're in the system. And Sega recently also made, you know, an absolutely fantastic, attractive menu with lots of cool, quirky options, such as changing the ROMs to different countries and stuff like that, and, you know, new composed music, and it was lovely. Sony did the absolute bare minimum, bought someone else's emulator, an off-the-shelf emulator, didn't put anything in there, boring bog standard menu screen, although that, to be fair, these don't change that. Very limited options, and a whole mix-up of PAL and NTSC games, because they had to do it in such a way that the language had to be across everything in Europe, as well as, you know, for systems in North America, although obviously in Canada you would need, you know, French. So that's why you had 50 Hertz games on there, and that was when people first initially started, you know, dicking around with it and hacking it and see what you could do. And obviously you could just change the ROMs once you got into the settings of the console to, such as Tekken 3 to NTSC, so it doesn't run, you know, 25% slower. I mean, alright, they aren't boarded in this case, but hey. But yeah, shame on you, Sony. It backfired massively, bit you in the ass, and you can now buy these things, you know, absolutely. I think the regular going price is about £25 to £30, although I bought one for £15 on Amazon Prime Day to keep as a backup, because at £15 with the you know, the addition of these sticks, they all of a sudden become a very, very, very good, useful emulation device. Now obviously you can run other emulators on it and stuff like that. None of my videos have addressed that. If you want to do that, that's absolutely cool, such as, you know, I can't remember what it was, a Retro Arch? I don't know, but there are ways to play more ROMs on it. But I use mine purely and simply as a PlayStation device, and as I said, because I've had no problem swapping in and out these sticks, it means you can have a whole array or a whole library of games, and you can, like with the fighting stick on this, which doesn't, you know, appeal to me, but you can break your whole game collection down into a stick of RPGs, a stick of driving games, a stick of fighting games, a stick of shoot-em-ups and stuff like that. It makes it an absolutely wonderful machine. So that aside, I do really thoroughly recommend them. Sorry I kind of repeated myself a bit there, but anyone who's not seen that video and has no interest in seeing it and just stumbled across this one, I did want it to be able to be self-contained. But yeah, I think these are absolutely fantastic. I have no idea, I have not tried this yet, what the games are on this stick. I could have read it, but when the person said, hey, I'm going to send you another one, that's really cool, I thought, I like flying blind. There's something just kind of cool and exciting, childlike, if you will, about flying blind and seeing what is on these sticks. So yeah, basically, I just want to say I think these things are fantastic. I don't know how they circumvented the legality of having ROMs on it, but quite frankly, it benefits me, so I don't care. And I bought enough bloody PlayStation games, you know, the first time around, and imported a Japanese console for 450 quid, so kind of paid my dues there, I think. Anyway, let's go to the other room and have a look at what's on this stick, and maybe, you know, play a couple of the games. Alrighty, so we've just fired this on. I do love the way it looks when you've got that like full Rolodeck of games. It's just a thing of beauty, particularly compared to how weak and empty this is before, you know, start using mods. But anyway, I'm jumping into this completely and utterly blind. I do not know what's on this, so right off the back, we've got a Star Trek game, Star Trek Invasion. I have no idea what that game is like, but I'm just happy to have a Star Trek game. Now, I will say this. If you know what any of these games are like that I do not, no spoilers. No spoilers, I want to jump into them blind. Obviously not necessarily in this video, but for lots and lots of gameplays. Anyway, let's see what we've got. Star Wars Masters of Terrakasi, the terrible, terrible, terrible fighting game that we're all looking forward to because it was Star Wars, but it turned out to be a bit pants. But I had that back in the day, and I have a soft spot for it. As do I this, Star Wars The Phantom Menace. Not only do I really like this movie, clearly better than anything in the sequel trilogy. Ooh, controversial, but yeah, I found it a really, really deep and enjoyable game. Kind of preferred my PC version, but yeah, I'm very happy that's on there. Ooh, Syndicate Wars. I hear great things about it, but I've never played it. Immediately, we're noticing... Ooh, Tales of Destiny 2. We're noticing a very, very, very nice mix. This is kind of cool. I am liking this. Test Drive 4. Never played it, but you got to have a car game. Test Drive 5. Raiden Project. Yeah, this is a nice batch. This is, maybe that's what the Weed pack actually refers to, is just an everyday entry level pack, meaning something or a bit of something for everyone, I should say. But well, you could say that Raiden Project though is a balls hard Bulletstorm, so not necessarily that, but I am looking forward to that, as I am that. Absolutely loved Theme Hospital. To be fair, I love the theme games. Tabao number 1, not everyone's cup of tea, but a interesting fighting game. Now that's A, very disappointing, and B, kind of interesting, which is whether that's NTSC or not. Why have you put a game on this stick that is in the standard unmodded PlayStation Classic? Did you not fire that up, or did you just think, no, people really want to play this in NTSC? Because even in NTSC, it's not going to cover up the fact that this game is bollocks. Tomb Raider Chronicles, my other memory stick has Tomb Raider 1 to 3, so that's cool. I don't know anything about Tomb Raider Chronicles, year 2000 though, so it's a late release. Tomb Raider Last Revelation rings a bell, 1999, but don't know anything about it. So that gives me the full set of PlayStation 1 Tomb Raider games between this and the other stick. I do like that. This is a really, really interesting, nice mashup or mix-up, particularly so with Toy Story 2. Soft spot for that game. As I do V-Rally 2, a lot of these I still have my original versions of, but obviously the convenience of being on here. Valkyrie Profile, Square Enix, so always good to have some Square Enix, RPGs. Vigilante 8, Activision's knockoff of Twisted Metal, I guess. I've never played it, so that's kind of cool. Vigilante 8's second event, so it must have been popular. Warcraft 2, The Dark Saga. This is a really, really interesting and refreshing lineup. Like I said, it's something of a bit of everything for everyone. WRC Rally Championship Arcade. I mean, I thought the original was pretty much an arcade racer. I have a soft spot for that game. It's not the greatest game. I mean, I don't know how good some of these games are on it. You could argue that's a bit pants, but I own it. XCOM Terror from the Deep. That's a classic. XCOM UFO Defense. Not played that. This is really good. This has given me lots of stuff to play, and lots of stuff, that I never would have probably tried or bought back in the day, such as that, A Bug's Life, but it's Disney. Alfred Chicken, no Scooby whatsoever. Alone in the Dark 2, that's a port of the 3DO game, then I'm down. Ark the Lad, no idea what that is, but it's Sony. Ark the Lad 2, with a rather Street Fighter-ish cover. Again, no idea. Ark the Lad 3. Obviously, Ark the Lad was somewhat popular back in the day. Beat Mania. Got a beat rhythm game on it. Good. We had one on the other one. Got a Bomberman World, a Bomberman game. That's kind of cool. Broken Sword 2. Classic. Thank you for putting this on here. Big Game Hunter. I think I've done a gameplay of that, but it's the arcade version, so that's kind of interesting. Castlevania Chronicles. Now, didn't you put that on the previous stick, or was that because it's on one of my sticks? I don't know. Championship Motocross. Do like a motocross game. Chess Master 2. I'm sure there are people out there who love chess, and I can play chess, but it's just one of those things that it's never going to be as good on a computer as it is in the real thing, because it's about the individual that you're playing. Colin McRae Rally 2.0. Lovely. Colony Wars, it's sheer eye butter. I love that game. Command & Conquer, yes, Command & Conquer game. This is a really good pack. I would argue that the game selection on it is probably better than the Crack pack. But yeah, Command & Conquer NOD, sweet. Crisis Beat, not a Scooby. Croc, Legends of Gobos, that's disappointing because that is on the other stick. I'm not sure why you would double up. Is it laziness? Is it convenience? Is it lack of ROMs? I don't know. That's a bit disappointing. It's a good game. Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX. I love that game. It's not for everyone. That is fantastic, and I have that. Oh yes, thank you. See, now I'm very happy. I got this stick. Discworld, Legendary Books, and that's a really good game with Eric Idle, I believe, and Discworld 2, and that's brilliant because both those games are a tad expensive now. Doom, I want to say, is Doom on my other stick, or is it on my other stick, if you know what I mean? Duke Nukem Time to Kill. I've got Planet of the Babes. I've played the original. I've never played that, so that's cool. Eagle One, Harry Attack. Never heard of it. Guys, God Bless the King. Squaresoft. So we know that. Yeah, cool. Hang on. Is that the fighting one? Oh, I hope it is. F1 World Grand Prix 1999. I do like the Grand Prix games. Could argue that do you really need 2000 on there because they're all so similar, but again, is that a space thing, a time thing, a lazy thing? Fantastic Four, never played it, but it's Fantastic Four. Final Doom, thank you for a Doom that will really spank my ass. No, seriously, thank you, that's awesome. Fluid, I don't know, is that a beat rhythm game? Frogger, just watched a video on this from Team Justice, could have done without that one. G-Police. Oh, I still got my reason. I love that game. This is a really nice, interesting spread of games. G Darius, brilliant. Gallagher. I'm going to say Gallagher. So it's a Gallagher remake. Oh, it's also another one of those ones I saw on. Actually, Kim said that was a really, really good game. Glaxian 3. It was Namco, so that should be interesting. Gauntlet Legends. Love that game. Grand Tour Racing 98. Know nothing about it. Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets. Do we need a Harry Potter game on here? I don't know, I could live without it, but hey, I can't knock it off because I, I'll write it off and never played it. I only played Harry Potter games on the PlayStation 2. Heart of Darkness. This is a really good pack. I'll stop sounding like a broken record soon. Hercules, it's Disney, should be pretty good. ISS, we got an ISS. Thank you. Jinx. Jinx. Know of it, never played it. Cartier, The World of Fate. Cooler World. Oh, I love me some Cooler World. Cooler World is absolutely brilliant. Awesome. There's going to be so many gameplays on this. Legend of Dragoon. Your Sony game, but I see what you did there. You nicked the name from Sega. Loaded. Classic. Brilliant soundtrack by Pop Release itself. Lost Vikings 2. I heard great things about it. I've never played it. Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX. Didn't we have... No, we had another one. Mech Warrior 2. Box Out rings a bell. Medal of Honor Underground, brilliant. Prefer the first one because it was more like GoldenEye. I mean, this is like GoldenEye, but they introduced this whole kind of mythological magic element into it, like in the enemies you fight, which I could have done without in my World War One games. Mega Man 8, tasty. Mega Man X5, tasty. Brilliant. I absolutely love Metal Gear Solid VR missions, and this is interesting because much like my original memory stick, there's nothing to do with this series, which says Grand Theft Auto London 69 on it or whatever. That game. It's not a standalone game. It's a bonus disc. So having that work, I don't know how they do it, but it's fantastic. Misadventures of Trombone. See what you did there? Never heard of it. Yes. NBA Jam Tournament Edition. So presumably this will be nearer to being arcade perfect. Oh, I can't wait to play it. Love this game. Need for Speed 3, Hot Pursuit, Ninja, Shadow of Darkness, Proteus. This is a really good mix-up. Philosoma, never heard of it. Pink Panther, Pinkadelic Pursuit, never heard of it. I know the Pink Panther is 2003. Wow. Pong, the next level. There are a lot of these cheaper Atari when they're owned by Hasbro games that I don't necessarily need. Quake 2, got a feeling that might be a duplicate, but that might be because it's on one of my sticks. Rayman 2, The Great Escape, again, not sure, that might be a duplicate. That's not Rayman Rush. Ridge Racer, that's a duplicate. That's a bit cheap. Oh, Robocop James Bond 2, didn't know it was on the PlayStation. Hopefully they upped the visuals. Roscoe McQueen Firefighter Extreme, Saga Frontier 2, oh, Sheep Raider, no idea. Sounds a bit Simpark. Yes, or Synthie. Spice World. Really? Actually, I shouldn't rag on that because it's one of those games there. How would you do a Spice Girls game? I'm assuming it's rhythm. So that's kind of cool because I never would have bought it, but I would be curious to give it a go. Spider-Man Extra, win. Spider-Man 2, win. And we're back to Star Trek. So, there are a lot of really, really cool games on here. There's a couple of stinkers, obviously. You would probably get that when you've got 100 games. But, let's have a look at Need for Speed 3. Also, I don't understand the duplicates. I'm just going to try 2 games, basically make sure it works. I'm not sure why you would think it wouldn't, but let's give Need for Speed 3 Hot Pursuit a go. There are tyre strips in this one, aren't there? Right, skip to the end. Oh, I'm going to have to skip any intros, aren't I? Oh well. I'll get a dab hand with the editing. Skip. There we go. Cheeky. Oh, it's loading. I thought it was a title screen. There we go. Right, style, arcade. No, we'll go with single race. Hometown. Yeah, correct. Lambo. Ferrari. And awful music. Right. That's hard. I've got to press triangle to start. Okay. Oh, no, hang on. Single race. Hometown. There we go. That was a bit awkward. Right, go on. Skip to the end. Well, loading times aren't as bad as I remember. Right, so it's a one-on-one race.
3, 2,
It's a bit louder.
1, go!
Need for Speed Original 3DO is still my favourite. Need for Speed Original on the Saturn, higher frame rate. It's not the same game. I don't want to race 5 people. I want like this. Sorry, that was poor English. You know, one-on-one. No, you're probably looking at this, you pesky young'uns, and thinking this looks like pants. I think this looks lovely. I love this autumnal setting. Nice lighting effects. Shame about the awful music. But, no, there we go. And the fact that my opponent's completely pissed all over my chips. I still think this was nice. I'm very happy that this game is on here. Yoink, yoink, yoink. Right. Okay. I'm gonna try and look at why my accelerator button's stuck to the floor. Or stuck on my pad at least. But, oh, multiple routes. Let's have a look at another game. Boom. Now, this is nothing to do with the stick. This is just a fault of the PlayStation Classic in general, which obviously there are many faults, and laziness is why they've done this, but I wish there was a way to come out of the game by using your pad, having to get up and press the reset button. You could argue that's not the end of the world, Dave. Well, I just think it's poor. Right, what should we have a look at? No, where was it? There we go, Colony Wars. Because it's eye butter. And then there was a sequel, wasn't there? Colony Wars Vengeance. Also, eye butter. And by that I mean like buttery, not like you've got like conjunctivitis or something. I'll shut up now.
Welcome to the League of Free Worlds Information System.
Thanks. Begin campaign.
The Navy was stretched
oh.
across the stop.
Little James Earl Jones there for you. So basically it's got FMV backgrounds and polygonal ships, but it makes it look really, really nice. And it won't let me skip the intro. Which is that? No, I think that's the game engine, so I'll let it off. I'm all about game engine intros ever since I play Metal Gear Solid.
This is Midas Starport. We are under attack.
Oh,
Please assist.
rotate, rotate. Oh, I've got reverse, have I? Look at it. Right shoulders accelerate. You gotta hold that. Look at it, Mars. Look at it. Oh, I got a thingy. That's where the bad guys are. Is that a bad guy? See, obviously at this point, it's just space with a couple of planets. But later on, it does look Bye. So basically, Star Wars, Battlestar, all those kinds of goodness. Your laser will slow down. Oh, does it heat up? Change your weapons. It's not deep or anything. It's not a flight simulator. It's not, you know, X-Wing or TIE Fighter. But it's a lot of fun and sheer eye candy. One of them takes their shields down, as I recall, and the other one you use to do them in. Right, so atmospheric. Well, anyway, there you go. This isn't really a gameplay video. I just wanted to try a couple of
You are
games.
targeting friendly craft.
Yeah, well, maybe I feel like being a bastard today. So let's jump back to the other room and round up. So, as you can see, there's a decent amount of games on there. Well, hang on, there's 99 games on there, and they are indeed a very, very varied bunch. In fact, there are a couple of surprises on there, such as Spice Girls. Yeah, quite surprised about that. I know it was considered a budget title the first time around, and I am certainly not a Spice Girls fan, or was a Spice Girls fan, and there's no way I could do a gameplay of that because of the music involved in it. But I'm not going to lie, I am kind of curious and interested in seeing what that was like, simply because how do you make a Spice Girls game in the 90s? All I remember about it back then was it got absolutely panned, but that's the kind of one of the things that makes these sticks really good. The number of games you get and the overall price, it's just a really affordable way to play PlayStation games, you know. Granted, the emulation is at 100%, but it's good enough. People say it's not. I think it's absolutely good enough, and it means right now with all my memory sticks, I'm probably pushing 350 games. You know, as ardent a collector as you are, I shouldn't have said that, I'm sure there are out there, but who's going to have 350 PlayStation 1 games, with the prices of them, some of them being absolutely insane and extreme. But then that comes down to something else I want to quickly say is there are crossover games on these sticks. I don't know about the other sticks, I have not looked them up. I'm sure the fighting stick in itself means there will be crossover with the fighting games on this and the Crackhead stick, because there are quite a few fighting games on them, you know, both sticks. So, yeah, there are crossover games. There are also other crossover games and platforming and stuff like that. I think that's really, really weird. I'm not sure how they did it, as I mentioned at the start of this video. Surely you would take your 4 or 5 sticks that you want to make, kind of remove the fighting stick from the equation. I can understand putting fighting games from that on the other 4 sticks, but why would you duplicate games? Well, I don't know. I mean, was it simply a case of because of how many games they could get? Because I don't know how large their manufacturing, you know, design process was, and obviously they had to grab these games off the internet. Are some harder to find than others? I don't know. I've not really struggled with it, but another good thing about these sticks, as I mentioned in the other video, is, I should have mentioned this at the start of this video, yes, sure, loads of people are going to say in the comment section, it's incredibly easy to do this process yourself. It is beyond easy to do this process, but ultimately you have to have absolutely amazing internet, because while these games aren't, you know, today's size standard of games, you're downloading a CD. If you haven't got amazing internet, then this whole process is just, it's redundant for you. Also, if you want to do it properly, have it nice, shiny and fast, fantastic with, you know, icons and stuff like that, as boring as the PlayStation Classic menu is, that's something else you have to do, an extra, you know, stage to add on to the process. And also then there's where exactly do you find these games? So I understand that that's, you know, some people just can't be asked for that and like to buy stuff off the shelf. I have done this process myself, but I also do like sometimes to buy stuff off the shelf, even though I didn't buy either of these because they were very kindly sent to me by a subscriber. Thank you very, very much. But yeah, so I'm quite surprised that there are crossover games. I don't know about that, but I kind of mentioned, you know, there, which is how many games do they have access to, or do they manage to get, or is it a question of the time, you know, time consumingness of the process of making loads of these? Because from what I can tell, they are selling really well, and they've all got really good reviews on Amazon. But yeah, I do enjoy the games on here. There are some really cool ones. There's a Metal Gear, excuse me, VR missions, which I absolutely loved back in the day. And much like how they've done Grand Theft Auto London 69, excuse me, on my stick, my original sticker that I got, I do, which isn't, you know, one of these True Blue mini sticks. I do like the fact that you've got you've got the bonus disc, because obviously the original game means you had to run the original Metal Gear, and this was a secondary disc. But I do like that because I absolutely love that game, and there's loads and loads of, you know, depth and, you know, value to that, because it's such a big game with so many stages and stuff like that, and a real good sense of humour. So that's the standout game for me on here. Like I said, there are some duplicates, but ultimately for 15 to 20 pounds, this stick, what you're going to complain that you got, you know, approximately 100 games. Do I think it's a better lineup than, excuse me, the Crackhead stick? I don't know. I mean, look it up. Look it up on Amazon if you're going to buy it, and it will list the games. Or you could just watch a YouTube video, not mine, although I have listed them in this and the Crackhead one. And you can see what games there are on these, where the crossover games are worse, and, you know, what sort of games, you know, appeal to you. But when it comes to the PlayStation, because I'm quite across the board with all the game types, like I said, I do like fighting games. I don't want them to be the be-all and end-all of what's on the stick. I do like shooters. I do like kind of goofy, stupid, silly games like Spice Girls, because I never would have bought it back in the day, but, you know, having it as an option on this stick, it's kind of funny. Maybe I'll look into how I could do a gameplay on that. But is it better? I don't know. That's really a question I can't answer, because I would play, you know, all the games on this just as I would play all the games on that, and, you know, because there are so many, gain just as much enjoyment from each and every title. I mean, look up this video, look up the other video if you want to see which stick appeals more to your, you know, your subjective taste in games. But I think they're equally as good as each other. Would I buy the other two sticks, or all three, you know, including the fire stick? I don't know. I don't know. Again, it comes down to the crossover games, but ultimately I think this is an absolute fantastic device, and a very, very, if you've got a PlayStation Classic, and if you do, it's an absolute must, very, very cheap way for you to expand your, or create a rather large library of PlayStation games without being hit in the pocket too much. Anyway, if you have this stick or any of the other sticks, and I do apologise that I may have repeated or touched upon much of the stuff I did in the other video, but had to do an overview of this stick because I very kindly sent it, and also I love it, so I'd love to know what you think, especially if you have these sticks. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.